the 90s, we started doing some condo work. William hadn't been out of school very long, and we got the opportunity to look at Pelican Beach. And so we moved forward as a partner on Pelican Beach and built it with him, and it was an incredibly successful project. It led us into more opportunities there in the condo market, but I might also say that was our first project that was 19 stories. And when we were first interviewed, before the big interview for Beau Rivage, we were asked, have we ever done a 22-story building? I said, no, but we're doing a 19-story one right now. And they said, that's good enough. We talked about the significance of different projects through the career of the company, and one of the significant turning points and threw us into another level was certainly Beau Rivage. But in the presentation, we did a PowerPoint presentation, which is the first one we had done. So when we did it, the Mirage people said, oh, we've never seen one. So it was the first one they had ever seen also. And so they were impressed by the fact that we were technically doing something a little bit better. And then their charge for us had been, can you tell us how we can have a casino that does not go up and down with the ebb and flow of the tide, which all other casinos did. When the tide was out, you went down a ramp to get to the casino. When the tide was in, you went up a ramp to get to the casino. And their challenge was, let's have one that doesn't go up and down. So we came up with a pretty creative way with some outside engineering help and suggestions on how to do the Beau Rivage casino, very similar to what semi-submersible oil rig does to stay where it is. And we put that presentation up, and we did a lot of other things, showed them what we had been doing in Tunica all at one time. Halfway through it, they said, let's take a break. Everybody stood up, we were taking a break. I said, no, Bill, you come with us. So they had me go with them. So 4 of us went back in another part of the building. And they said, you guys are head and shoulders above anything we've seen. We want to cut a deal with you right now. So I said, that's the deal. And we shook hands. So they said, I don't want you to tell your team, but you can tell William, because we want you and William to go meet Steve Wynn at lunch. Want to go back, take a lunch break, and then we want them to continue to present. We won't hear everything else in your presentation. But you're the contractor. Yates is going to do the project.
The Beau Rivage was my first full-time gaming project. It was actually at the owner's insistence that I was on site full-time. That was one of the 3 prerequisites for awarding us the project, that I would be on site full-time. Now, I was 23 years old. I didn't know a whole lot about a whole lot, but the owner knew that if they had Bill Yates' son on his project full-time, that it had Dad's attention. And that project at the time was 10 times larger than any other project we had ever built. So a significant amount of resources, risk. There was a lot of focus and a lot of attention, a lot of pressure to make sure that we performed and delivered, and the team did a fantastic job, and it really took us to a new level in the gaming world and in the construction world.
Boyd had a partner and Mirage, and they were going to put a project in Atlantic City called Borgata, a huge project. Mr. Boyd himself came, he met with me. We met in Memphis, and he said, we need Yates to come do this project for us in Atlantic City. We all do it. And we were glad to have that opportunity. We went to Atlantic City, but that let us realize even more, I think, William, that we needed to have relationships way beyond Mississippi. We established a wonderful relationship with a partner who was really strong in New York, in Atlantic City, and that was a very successful project.
That was the natural progression of the growth of the company, to continue to be all that we can be the best that we can be, and go basically take the show on the road and go in these other locations that were good fits for us, and continue to do the same basic things we'd always done, but in new markets, new areas, new locations.